What's the fastest way to learn calisthenics skills? That's gonna tell us today Johannes H. That. I guess he's keeping his last name secret, or I don't know. Anyways, it is not a secret. It's the most basic thing. Maybe 20 years ago, but these days, nah. Those who watched my previous videos know that I cried about not being original anymore. Today, I've got something original. A reaction on Super Clarkson. So it's reaction on video. There will be more webcams than the video itself. Bye.
I will be reacting to a guy who claims that doing weighted calisthenics will get you whatever skill in calisthenics.
That was fast. I already paused it after 10 seconds. I believe that when you are doing tutorials on calisthenics skills, how to get them super fast, it is a really pain in the ass because you will say something, and if you won't say additional 100 sentences to it, everybody can point out something that it won't work like that. For example, if you will do weighted, it will give you automatically every calisthenics skill. But I forgot to add there that, you know, straight arm strength is something completely different, and it will give you the foundation to, you know, or for example, 10 pull-ups are enough for muscle up. But if you want, say, like comfortably doing 10 pull-ups and not 10 pull-ups, you know, that's something different. So you have to be super specific. There's no lever, but calisthenics skills you have to take super individually. For someone, 40 kg on one pull-up will be enough to learn front lever, full front lever. But for me, I would need to have like 100 kg pull-up to even hold it for 3 seconds. So weighted is good, but you still need to train specifically the move.
In this video, I'll show you the best method for learning calisthenics skills.
By the way, we are so messed up that we have to add even to these normal video subtitles when the guy has like really good English. Everybody can understand him.
I learned the muscle up in 1 day, achieved the back lever.
Muscle up in 1 day is possible if you already trained for like a year or two. You know, the technique is pretty simple, so if you are overpowered, you will get it in 1 day, in my opinion.
1 day.
Without ever training for it, and I can almost hold the full front lever. Also,
almost. I'd say if you trained for some time and this would be a result of your weighted work, that's pretty good. You know, without any preparation, having this front lever. I trained for this front lever for 3-4 years.
with no training for it.
Clearly, I can see he didn't train for the front lever. What the fuck
Training
is that?
for it, and I can almost hold the full front lever. Also,
Just a few months of specific training for the front lever. There's a big difference between straight arm front lever, straight arm planche, and bent arm planche. Even slight bend, and it's completely different exercise. We'll get to that also.
That is not almost holding. God damn, let's see.
with no training for it whatsoever. So I'm gonna show you the method that I use to be able to do this, that no one is talking about, and how you can implement it so you can get the same or even better results.
No one is talking about this method is everywhere. Everybody's talking about it. I will already tell you right now that this is basically a typical Ian Barsigal fan, so you probably know where this video will go.
So the conventional method that most
Yeah, I definitely don't want the same results.
influencers preach to learn skills is, let's say for the muscle up, you first get your basics up, which most influencers will tell you to just be able to do 10 muscle ups, maybe 15 sometimes, before you start learning muscle up as like a prerequisite. And then when you reach
Yeah, a good prerequisite is to actually do at least 10 pull-ups. That doesn't mean that you should stop doing pull-ups altogether.
Yeah, you should do basics till the end of your life. 10 pull-ups, I'd say, equals one somehow high pull-up, maybe a little bit under the chest. So, you know, if you will have more pull-ups, then you will be able to do a higher pull-up and easier muscle up. Then you have to be strong to do it technically correctly. If you are not strong, you will do a gymnastic keep, glide keep, bar keep.
10 is the bare minimum to start training statics or skills.
that strength goal, they will tell you to do a bunch of different progressions and fancy schmancy exercises to reach your first muscle up. But let me tell you something, you don't need all those bullshit exercises. You don't need to be doing progressions. You don't actually need that to learn the muscle up, or most skills actually. Most skills are more about strength than they're actually about technique. And there are some exceptions, for example, the handstand or the handstand push-up, where you need some technical exercises to get a hang of the balance. But most skills are actually more about strength.
How you want to do handstand push-up with technique but without strength?
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no, man.
I tried to do the conventional approach to learning the muscle up, where I got to 10 pull-ups, and then as these influencers told me, after I got to that point, I started doing
These pull-ups, his physique overall, I don't know, his height. Anyways, forget about skills, man. Give it another year or two of weighted or even body weight. We think that pull-ups are easy, but if you will do pull-ups correctly, squeeze those back muscles. For example, check out License. He does 40 or 20 pounds weighted pull-ups, 10 reps or 8 reps, and he does them really, really well. Like the world champion is doing weighted with only 20 pounds, 40 pounds, but he does them super cleanly. Super clean, whatever. Or for example, weighted dips, also 40 pounds, but he goes super deep. And even just a simple body weight pull-ups are super hard because, you know, most of the guys do pull-ups like this. Weighted, don't even mention weighted. Weighted is, you know, well, what the hell? But there's a big difference between doing body weight pull-ups like this. Really try to hit the bar with your chest and this. Let's try a little form check. I haven't trained for 5 months, leave me be. Even Australian pull-ups, if you will really try to use the bodybuilding method, completely turn off your arm. Man, I was dying.
Look at the form of his pull-ups.
approach to learning the muscle up, where I got to 10 pull-ups, and then as the
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. You know, he's doing the typical hunched back, or you see it. He's not really squeezing the back muscles how he should.
influencers told me after I got to that point,
He is struggling to even do 10. When an influencer says, or even when I say, get your basics up beforehand. When I say, do 10 pull-ups, I don't mean 10 pull-ups and you're gassed out. I mean that you can constantly pump out 10 pull-ups.
That's a big difference. If you mean do 10 pull-ups and you are good to go to try a muscle up, or you have to do 10 pull-ups effortlessly, so that means you can possibly do 20 in one set with bad form those last couple reps, you know. Maybe people should watch the tutorials to the end.
This guy clearly can't do them effortlessly.
conventional
Just look
approach
at the
to
form.
learning
Maybe he can do them effortlessly but with bad form, you know. So he mastered the bad form and
the muscle up, where I got to 10 pull-ups, and then as these influencers told me after I got to that point, I started doing a bunch of different exercises to learn the muscle up, like banded muscle ups, jumping muscle ups, negative muscle ups.
Which are all extremely good to get to know the technique.
for nailing down the technique, I just like use the banded muscle up. That's good enough. You will get the feeling of going up and going down also, so 2 in 1.
Can't undermine that part.
And a bunch of different like that. And it did work, but it took me about 3 to 4 months
Oh, it did work, but... Okay, it did work, but...
to just get my first muscle up with really bad form, chicken wing, and a bunch of kip. And after that point, I just couldn't really
Zero strength.
to consistently replicate the muscle up. It seemed like I would just get really lucky once in a while and get one muscle up, but most of the time I still couldn't do it.
Well, that's the situation. Maybe I'm not that strong to do it without keeping, you know. So maybe I should build a little bit more base.
Of course you couldn't do it because your basics weren't at the level of doing 10 pull-ups. Doing 10 pull-ups means you can pump out 10 pull-ups anytime.
So 15 bad form.
Remember that.
For a little bit to try to work on my muscle ups with the conventional approach, but eventually I just got really bad results and I just took a break. On that break, at some point, I discovered the method I'm about to show you, and after using it for just a couple months,
The secret method.
Ian Basigo's method. Good secret. Spurting with enormous speed in every single country.
and literally, I'm not even kidding you, my first muscle up training, after not even training it for 3 to 4 months, I got the muscle up first try with no real
Because you have the strength now.
He basically skips the part where he learned the exact, correct technique for the muscle up.
Also, try to avoid learning keeping muscle up, because personally I find it hard to then get rid of this bad habit. You know, when I did muscle up, I wasn't focusing on like twisting the wrist. I focused on keeping my legs straight. Wait, build a little bit more strength and learn them with good form first time. When you are learning swing 360 on a really low bar, you will get used to bending your legs and then somehow turn and catch. Then you will go on a high bar and you will still bend your legs. Maybe it was just my problem. It's possible.
Technique, but he just used. This requires a lot of technique.
with really bad form, chicken wing.
He learned the technique way before actually having the strength to execute it. That's why he was able to do it. A lot of gym rats can pump out 10, 15 pull-ups. Yet they aren't even close to a muscle up. The guy
Pump out 10 pull-ups, but we know how the pull-ups look like. Half range of motion, no explosive strength.
rationalizes the secret method, but he doesn't understand anything what he's talking about. He trained for the technique for months. He got the technique down, but he didn't get the strength. Then he trained only for strength, and once the strength skyrocketed, he got the muscle up on a one day.
Got the muscle.
That's exactly the case of videos that claim stutter planche in a month. For example, in Basigo, he had a really good foundation, got the stutter planche in a month. 2 months later, so 3 months in total, full planche. You gotta train straight arm strength. We saw that, for example, now, Larry Wheels, he's overpowered, but no straight arm strength. So he's able to do somehow planche push-ups, full planche push-ups, but as soon as he should lock out and hold it in that position, bicep tendonitis, lower bicep tendons, that's everything.
On that break, at some point, I discovered the method I'm about to show you. And after using it for just a couple months, I
Isn't he saying it for like a third time already and he's still not shown anything?
went to the muscle up, and literally, I'm not even kidding you. My first muscle up training, after not even training it for 3 to 4 months, I got the muscle up first try with no real effort.
Yeah, the biggest problem with beginners is that they either don't have the technique for the skill or they don't have the strength for the skill. It's
Or both.
either way. This guy at first, when he started out, he got the technique super fast, but he didn't have the strength. So he went and did his strength training and came back because techniques don't basically fade away like that. He got the muscle up in one day. I, for one, had the exact opposite. I was able to do slow muscle ups with a false grip, but I was unable to do the correct muscle up with the right form for 2 years straight. Why? I only got the strength part right, but I didn't understand the technique.
You can disagree with me, but he wasn't strong enough. This statement can be easily denied even by my own calisthenics journey, because I was able to do 10 muscle ups. First were quite good. That happened in my 6th year of training. And in that same year, I learned even somehow slow muscle up. So then that would mean that slow muscle ups are actually a lot harder. Well, it was because I never really trained force grip. I might be wrong, but if you have a really strong force grip, really strong wrists, forearms, you will probably be able to do faster a slow muscle up, not slow muscle up like here in Basigo, for example, does, but somehow you will start pulling and then you will somehow lean over the bar, then actually having strength and explosive strength to really pull fast your body up on the bar. You don't need that for a slow muscle up. Comment down below what are your opinions about this.
Will follow his advice. That means that you will totally forget about the technique part. You need both.
Look, the reason that the conventional approach is not really that good is because you spend 3 to 4 months going through progressions and a bunch of different exercises just to learn one single skill, and you might achieve the skill, but once you actually do, all the training you just did has no strength carryover to any other.
If you're doing, let's say, a front lever, if you're doing a muscle up, one skill, that skill requires a certain amount of technique that you will also need to build. If you don't get that technique part right, you are unable to perform the skill.
Future. Whereas quite the opposite is actually true for this method I'm about to show you, where you do this method and you'll have strength carryover to any skill you'd want to learn in calisthenics. Literally any skill. Doesn't matter what it is, you'll have a much easier time.
This is just false. This is plain and stupid. Shut the fuck up. How the fuck does a weighted pull-up transfer over into a straight hand?
And here we are. It doesn't transfer to straight arm strength, but into a bent arm front lever. You will basically change the physics, you will basically change the mechanics of the exercise. Again, you can correct me, but if you do front lever, the move is basically this. You are doing the lat pull down. If you will treat the front lever like a pulling, it is pulling skill anyway. You are basically pulling yourself to the bar. There are multiple examples of people doing basically this front lever, and they are not really able to straighten their arms because they don't have the straight arm strength, but they are strong enough. Treat it like a pull-up. I hope you get it. Weighted pull-ups, weighted dips don't transfer into a straight arm strength. That's obvious, but they will transfer, weighted dips, they will transfer into planche push-ups because that's not a straight arm strength. That's a dynamic move. You are doing it just in a lean, in a pretty extreme lean.
You can do dips with 100 kilograms. That doesn't mean you will do a full planche.
You will do full planche push-ups. If you, of course, if you even train for them, full straight arm strength skills, you need good base, bent arm strength base. Just basically get overpowered and then you will get everything.
You can do pull-ups with 100 kilograms. That doesn't mean you will do a front lever. They will help you out to a certain degree. But from his own skills, what he just showed, the front lever in the beginning.
This is what you will get. Maybe with a little bit better form, if you actually train bent arm front lever, you will be better in bent arm front lever.
Pull-ups that he has been pumping out doesn't work because a front lever is a straight arm skill. The same goes for any skill in calisthenics.
I dropped down my ego and I would be glad even for bent arm front lever.
If you do this method. So you might be asking, what is this crazy secret method that no one's talking about? Well, it's actually something really simple. It's just doing weighted calisthenics, which is basically just doing basics on steroids. Weighted calisthenics is basically weighted pull-ups and weighted dips. Some people also do back squats because that's technically weighted calisthenics.
No one's talking about this method. Just Ian Barsiger for like a million times he mentioned it in his videos. And no one's talking about it. So these videos are just trash. You won't find out anything new in these videos. Secret method on how to get full planche super fast. Be strong.
And weighted muscle ups. But we're just going to focus on weighted dips and weighted pull-ups, which is what is going to give us the results that we're after. Now, the reason that doing these two exercises in particular is so effective for learning skills is that it's going to build a crazy foundation of strength that will literally carry over to any single skill.
No, it won't. No, it won't. Shut the fuck up.
Again, it will build you a bent arm strength, good base, yeah, but it won't build you a straight arm strength. It will be easier and it will be even possible for you to build up a straight arm strength. For example, I bet that these guys from a channel That's Easy Money, or how is it called, something like this, every single one of them is or would be really able to do a front lever because these guys are super muscular and they would build up the straight arm strength super fast because they got the foundation.
I'm so sick and tired of these beginners yapping. The guy
Yapping, this word. Start with Skibbity Ohio Reese and I will turn off this video.
can do a muscle up, a shitty back lever, and the front lever that he showed, I had like 7 years ago. They won't carry over. You need to train for the skill if you want to learn the skill.
Straight arm strength skill.
We want to learn in the future. So literally any skill you pick that you want to learn in the future is going to be 10 times easier if you get a strong foundation using weighted.
10 times? My guy, you have been doing weighted pull-ups. Where is your front lever if it's supposed to be helping you 10 times?
Calisthenics first. That's why this method is so goated. That's what allowed me to learn the back lever without ever training
Back lever is easy.
for it, and also to learn the muscle up in literally just 1 day. I know I trained for it before.
Don't claim to learn it in 1 day, you fuck. He hasn't. You, my G, Johannes, you haven't learned the muscle up in 1 day. If you did, for 3 months the technique work, and I don't even know how long you did the strength part. Basically, I became a millionaire overnight, but I worked for 18 years straight before.
But I'd literally not trained for it for 3 to 4 months. And then my first attempt back, after not training for 3 to 4 months, I got it first try. That's how good this method is. Now, there are various...
That's how good that method is. How can you claim that the method is so good when you literally, it took you half a year to learn a muscle up? Half a year. I have coached guys who have done a muscle up without any prior experience in 1 week. Without any prior experience. This is fucking brain dead.
For it, and also to learn the muscle up in literally just 1 day. I know I trained for it before, but I'd literally not trained.
I know I trained for it before, like half a year, 6 months. But I didn't train for it.
For 3 to 4 months. And then my first attempt back, after not training for 3 to 4 months, I got it first try. That's how good this method is. Now, there are various different methods and approaches you can pick to train weighted calisthenics and get your basics up. The most important thing is just that you pick one and you stick to it for a while. Because if you just constantly jump between different methods, you won't really have a chance to see which one works and which one doesn't. And your body really doesn't have a chance to adapt to the method that you're using. So you really won't get any good results if you don't stick to a method for a bit longer. Now, I'll just very quickly go over the method that I've used and seen great results with, which is the method that the athlete Jan Barsiegel.
As I told you guys, how is it called? I should do something with my memory. Typical fan of Ian Barsiegel, like you can tell that right away. But I see that Zupa Clarkson is not really fan of Ian Barsiegel's method. Hey. I believe that you don't really need to do weight test. You can just do body weight with perfect form, and even body weight pull-ups will really mess you up.
And it's called the two-set method. Basically,
The two-set method is a fucking scam.
There are so many methods, so many ways how to do something. As I said, you have to be super individual, because I remember seeing that you have to do 20 kgs pull-ups 10 times to be able to start doing front lever. That's a total nonsense. If a guy doesn't have legs, he can do front lever right away. But if you are 7 feet tall, I know the chance is really small. 20 kgs is nothing.
for this method, you're going to
If you want skills.
do 2 sets for weighted pull-ups and 2 sets for dips. First,
Even the same goes for Ian. Ian has a front lever, a shitty planche, handstands, but everyone forgets the point that the guy has been training calisthenics for 8-9 years. What the fuck did he do in those first half?
Basics, building physique. Those clips we saw are pretty old, I believe, so he had a badass strap planche, but yeah. He talked about that he can't really lock out his arms because of bicep tendons or biceps. In one of my previous videos where I talked about that calisthenics is mainly for shorter people, and I mentioned their joints. Most of the people, if you are high, if you are taller, shorter, you still have the joints of same size. So the joints of 2 meters tall guy doing planche will hurt more than a guy that's 160, for example. Ian is not even training calisthenics skills anymore, so he's just doing pull-ups, muscle-ups, weighted pull-ups, you know. His goal is somewhere else than calisthenics skills.
He did skills.
There are a couple of Instagram reels where we saw him doing some skills, but I believe that even back then, even in those first 4 years, it wasn't his first goal.
Trained for the front lever. He wasn't even that jacked and that big. He trained for the planche. You have literal footage of him training for the planche. And now he has developed this two-set method, and he can't even hold the planche clean.
He stopped training it. It's that simple.
Don't be lied to, people.
with a higher weight, and the second set you're going to do higher reps but with a bit lower weight. And both sets you're going to do them till complete failure, meaning till you physically can't do another rep. The most important thing for this method is just that you consistently apply progressive overload, which basically means that every few workouts you should try to add more weight to ensure that you're progressing and getting stronger. Now you might be asking,
I am a pro guy. I'm not an intermediate anymore, since I can do one of the hardest skills in calisthenics. And my weights as well are like not average. 60 kilogram pull up.
For you, Super Clarkson, the weights are a little bit different because I guess you are a little bit shorter. If you would, for example, set 40 kgs pull up 10 times to have a full front lever, for him it would mean like 20 kgs 10 times because he's a lot shorter, a lot lighter. You have to add up them. The question is how. You gotta use some geek climber style math, I believe.
70, 80 kilogram dips. But I haven't even used or touched a method similar to that. I have my own approach.
Too many methods, too many approaches these days, and people are just fed up by it and they don't know what they should do. So if you would like to try every single approach, every single YouTube set, it will take you like 5 years to try every single one of them. In my opinion, if you will be overpowered every single approach, if you will do the exercise correctly, it doesn't matter. In Ian's case, he started doing right away stutter planches. He could choose bend planches, planche holds, or negatives. He would get it because he has the strength, he has the foundation for it, and it's just a matter of time till he builds the straight arm strength.
You should find your own approach as well, find out what works, but...
And enjoy the process. Don't overcomplicate things, don't rush things, just build a good foundation. The question is how. That's your job to do. I don't know your body. You have to find what works for you.
Besides that, let's get on with the video.
but when am I ready to actually start training skills? And my recommendation would be that you build a really strong foundation first. So a good goal to aim for should be to be able to do 20 kilograms on weighted pull-ups for 10 reps and 40 kilograms for 10 reps on...
You have to adapt them to your body weight, to your height. You'll have a really short torso, a really long legs, and this doesn't work for you because your legs will pull you down even with 20 kgs 10 times reps, for example. I'm just yapping.
Fun fact, I actually did that. And I tried it. It was quite effortless for me, I'm not gonna lie. I touch weights rarely. But how can you claim, bro, I can do that? I, as a professional guy, can literally do the exact same requirement that he just said. I'm not saying that skills get easier after that. What the fuck?
If you can do this, you'll have a crazy strength foundation that will make any skill you want to learn so much easier. You can even aim for more than that if you have the patience for it, because basically the more you get your weighted pull-ups and dips up, the easier the skills you want.
I stopped it. Good. Patience. Patience is what most people are missing these days, because I see it myself every time I turn on the Instagram. Full planche, full Maltese push-ups. Okay, I'm not saying that, but press, one arm handstand. And of course, if you see this daily, you want to do that also. If everybody would post just pull-ups, muscle-ups, the old school stuff, the calisthenics scene would be a lot different.
Oh, no, it doesn't work like that. That is so fucking stupid. If I can do 80 kilogram pull-ups for 10 reps and 100 kilogram dips for 10 reps, that doesn't mean I will enhance in skills.
I believe I said it already, but you will have better foundation and you will be able to progress. If you will focus on that skill specifically, you will be able to progress more because you are stronger. So there's more room for improvement.
No! Fucking no! Those are two different fucking sport categories.
These conversations wouldn't even exist if everybody would keep building physique, for example, like Max True. That guy learned front lever just by doing negatives in between his sets, his regular sets of pull-ups. I don't know, 20 pull-ups, weighted pull-ups, I don't know what he did. And he learned it in like either 4 weeks or 3 months. I'm not sure right now, but super fast.
Are exact fucking opposites. You can't mix those two.
To learn in the future are gonna be. So you can kind of see it as an investment into your future. Now, the most important thing to get optimal progress is, as I said, apply progressive overload, but also to make sure that you're training hard enough and being consistent. You need to show up to all your workouts, and you need to also be training hard enough.
This mentality of like, you have to not skip even one workout. You have to show up on every single training day. Skipping one workout out of 100. Bruh.
Especially for the method I just told you about, the 2-set method, you need to be going till failure on every single set because you're only doing 2 sets. Not this bullshit of only going until it gets uncomfortable. You need to be going until you physically can't do more. Now, for some other methods, you might not need to go completely till failure, but for most methods, it should be hard. It should be difficult. So keep that in mind if you actually want good results. Now, if you actually want to learn skills, you need to realize that getting to 10 pull-ups and 15 dips is simply not a good enough strength foundation.
Well, that's pretty obvious. Like doing one set of 10 pull-ups and then not hitting even 8, for example, forget about skills.
It is. It is if you don't quit. It is if you're starting to incorporate. And that's even better, I'd say. Why the fuck are you wasting time doing weighted?
In my opinion, it's better to focus only on one thing and you will get it the fastest. In this case, focus on basics, building a really good base, strength, muscles, and then focus on one skill.
No, I'm taking that back.
To learn skills, you need to realize that getting to 10 pull-ups and 15 dips is simply not a good enough strength foundation.
It might be.
No, if you don't have legs, then yes. But if you are an average guy, 10 pull-ups is just not even bare minimum. It's
actually might be. Who are you to tell it? Who are you to tell otherwise? Like literally. It all boils down to the genetics, the body's proportions,
how big your legs are.
the prior training experience, everything. It all depends.
If you want to set yourself up for success in the future, stop doing the conventional bullshit influencer approach of doing a bunch of progressions when you really don't have the correct strength foundation. Have the patience and build up your strength foundation using weighted calisthenics, and you will thank me for it in the future. I promise you. If you have the patience for this, you will achieve skills.
Yes, I totally agree. When you're a total newbie, when you're such a beginner, incorporate at the beginning. Don't do any kinds of
incorporate. Focus only on
skill work until you can. No, the example is quite good, to be honest. Like 20 kilograms for 10 reps of pull-ups and 40 kilograms of dips for 10 reps for pull-ups. But like, I'd even say that the requirement that he laid out is too extreme. You can start way earlier. If you can do 15 pull-ups for 3 sets, let's say, when you can do pump out on a single fucking run 30 to 40 dips, then you can even start implementing skills. The point is to have balance. I get the fucking point. I get the point Beginners, do your basics, but don't go overboard.
But you can never go wrong with going over the bar, or what he said. You can basically never go wrong with doing basics till extreme. What can go wrong? You will end up having a good physique, good strength, and then you will just collect those skills you want. You have to train the straight arm strength, sure. Why everybody's afraid of basics, man?
This fucking shit that you need to get so heavy with the weights that eventually you randomly start floating around because your body can fucking annihilate the world's gravity.
Man, I'm posting this video so much, but common sense, 10 kg, 100 kgs deep equals that you will be a lot lighter, you will feel a lot lighter, so you will be able to do full bench push-ups, for example, but not straight arm, but you will be able to...
That doesn't work. That doesn't work. That simply doesn't work. That's a lie. You have technique and you have strength. You need technique and you need strength. It's simple as that. Don't go overboard. And remember that skills are 60-70% technique. Of course you need an endless amount of strength in order to do those impressive calisthenics skills. But you need technique as well. Thank you for watching and see you on the next. Paka!
Man, I hope you learned something from it. As I told you, this whole video is pretty much pointless because the secret method is basically the most basic method these days, especially after the Ian Barsigas plague. Yeah, just get a good base and then try it. Okay guys, hope you like this video. If you liked it, actually, you can check out this one, which you do things you will also like. If Super Clarkson will react to this, it will be another reaction on reaction on reaction on reaction on video. Let's do there will be all over the video just webcams.